Sip and Listen, the podcast meant to inspire, challenge, and empower collaboration while taking actions that matter, with your hosts, beauty maker Christina Wirtz, recruiting genius Jennifer Rojas, and lover of all things marketing, Elisa Lane.
Are you selling or buying a home that needs upgrading or repairs? Get free contracting services when you buy or sell a home with Matthew Makovic Real Estate Solutions. Put expertise to work for you. Matthew is a licensed general contractor and a licensed real estate agent with Lux Real Estate Group. Drop the hassles and maximize your value with this unique 2-for-1 service. Call 520-465-4640 today or check out fixitlistedsold.com. That's fixitlistedsold.com.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that? We have a third co-host now.
Yes.
She's just big smiles. Carrie Keller.
She's trying to keep it all in.
Welcome to the
Excitement.
team.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So we're actually working with her name. We may have to get some votes. We're thinking either Media Doll, Media Darlin', the Southern Belle.
Yeah.
We're getting creative now.
Just don't know yet.
Yeah. But we'll have it down before next week.
Yeah, we definitely will.
That'll be the official bringing on the new co-hosts with a name.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, awesome. Today we have an interesting show. We actually mentioned it to the last show that was here. And we had some big wide eyes, which is always a fun thing to say. So what is our new guest, Christina?
This is Ashley Emery. I met her at a networking event maybe a month ago or so. And just what she does seems so interesting to me. And I'm like, there's a wealth of knowledge that this girl has that I wanted to bring on the show and share.
Are we just not going to say it? Let people guess.
So Ashley, what do you do?
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. It's nice to meet you all. I'm a certified vaginal steam facilitator.
Awesome. And what's your company's name?
I own Wholesome Haven.
And how did you come up with that name?
It's actually named after my daughter. Yeah, her name's Haven. So
My salon's name is Haven. Did you know that?
I didn't. That's
Now
where
you
we
know.
got that connection.
I know, it's funny. So what is a vaginal steam facilitator?
I help women heal from vaginal trauma, and it includes natural herbs, steaming. It's actually very empowerment. That's what it's focused on.
What do you mean by trauma?
Anything from painful periods, endometriosis, fibroids, after childbirth, there could be some trauma from there. Anything that's causing pain, whether it's emotional or physical.
We have so many questions.
I
don't even know where to
Carrie.
begin.
I see Carrie's brain.
Not look at me, Carrie.
Going. I'm feeling so inappropriate.
All right. So where do you do this? And
I have an office actually in downtown Mesa at a co-working space called She Works Here.
people just come in and give us the details. 'Cause we don't even know what to ask.
Yeah. So I typically will meet someone or connect with them online. And they do come down. They fill out an intake form. It's very medical professional, get a history and things like that, and then coming down to the office for the experience.
What does the experience look like?
It entails steaming particular herbs that are based on your body. And then I've got a pine box that you sit on top of where you focus the steam into that one area. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people that it's like when you take a hot shower and if you've got congestion in your chest, the steam is focused in this area and it releases whatever could be causing pain or trouble from your uterus.
How long do you sit on this?
Your first session is 10 minutes, and then you can extend up to 30 minutes after that.
Is there a reason why it's only 10?
Your body can only absorb a certain amount of heat. At that point, you reach where you can't absorb anymore. It's not effective at that point. And that 10-minute period in the beginning lets me know how your body reacts to steam. If we need to tailor certain herbs for certain ways, it'll kind of show me that with that little window there.
Okay, I need more specifics because
All right,
what's going on in my head cannot be how this works. A box.
A box, yeah, like a big pine box. You've got a triangle cut out,
And you sit on it.
and you sit on it and you relax. It's like a facial for your vagina, if we can go there. Yeah.
Okay, we can go there.
Yeah. it's a relaxing sensation. And so, or orgasmic, that's a good one.
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
It does produce a lot of blood flow. So if you do have sex afterwards, it's phenomenal. Low libido is one of the top things that I get seen for, especially like moms after birth are looking to bring back their sex drive, and that helps a lot.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating. We're all like speechless.
Still focused on sitting on a pine box.
A little pine box. And what makes it empowering too is it's something that you can practice at home. So I do have tools where you can do this. You can kneel over a pot in your home and have the healing done at home as well. So it's
You can vaginal steam at home.
Yes, it's empowerment in your reproductive health, for sure.
Interesting.
How do you get the word out?
Word of mouth, basically. Like when anybody hears, oh, you're a vaginal steamer, I get looked at like I have 3 heads. So it's a lot of education based in the Western society. I mean, this is an ancient practice. It's all over the world. It's used in hospitals over in Korea and stuff like that. So here in the States, it's a little bit more taboo, you would say, but not because of the practice itself, but because it can replace a lot of what medical doctors currently do. So like OBs and stuff wouldn't be as needed if you have this tool to do something naturally about your body versus getting on synthetic hormones, or a lot of women are being taken in for hysterectomies and surgeries, laparoscopic stuff that doesn't necessarily have to happen.
Wow. So how did you first hear about this? Like, was it something you were doing research on for yourself, or?
Yeah, I actually struggled with a slew of reproductive issues. I had endometriosis, fibroids, and then after my child, I had a prolapse. And so I had, previous to my pregnancy, I had laparoscopic surgery to help with my endometriosis, and I had a tumor as well. So that was all removed. And then after childbirth, and I had this prolapse, and my endometriosis came back because that surgery is, ablation isn't a permanent thing. You have to keep going in and getting, these layers removed. I didn't want to suffer through surgeries and be put under constantly. And a friend of mine actually sent me a video of healing for vaginal steaming after childbirth. And I tried it out. 2 steams later, my prolapse that I struggled with for 2 years was gone. And within 2 months, the endometriosis that I struggled with for over 8 years was gone.
What?
Wow.
And so after I had my first pain-free period and educated myself on how periods are not supposed to be painful and how, your body actually works, I got certified so I could bring that knowledge to women as well, because for all my life I thought periods were the vein of my existence and I didn't want to deal with them. And now that I have pain-free periods, I feel like it's a knowledge that all women should be aware that that's a choice that you could have. You don't have to live in pain, you don't have to dread that time of the month, and just being a woman doesn't have to be agony.
That's shocking to me, because that goes completely against what I believed too, because I've had super painful periods in my past. Like, I was just telling someone yesterday, like, over the toilet throwing up in pain. Like, those cramps were terrible.
Yeah.
And you're saying they don't need to happen?
They don't.
What?
They don't.
Sounds like there's going to be a vaginal steaming party. Do you do groups? Or can you provide
I've been
it for
asked
groups?
about this recently. Yeah.
We may have to have the sip and listen
Yeah.
Vaginal steaming.
group.
Bridal. I've
Party.
asked about a bridal party. Somebody asked me about that, and just kind of some groups. So I'm looking into that. I wasn't sure how it would be received. Doing big circles of that. But women want to bring their friends and kind of make it an intimate thing. So
You'd have to get more boxes.
yes, I would need more boxes, more stools, chairs.
It's funny because when Christina brought this to my attention, I'm like, I actually have seen something similar, but it it was done with this like gown type. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So you have this gown that's very long. So that's actually kind of like allowing the steam to stay within.
Because I'm thinking your vagina is all out there.
Yeah.
You can,
Not
if
today.
you feel like it, you can be completely nude. If you don't
Not
have,
for the party.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh, girls, please.
A towel or something. No, when you wear the gown, if you don't have a heat sensitivity, you do wear it's a detoxing effect.
Yes.
So keeping that in the steam in the heat in.
It
helps
was
with
actually like
detoxing.
really like this pretty like robe kind of robe. Yeah, it was
Oh,
really
I like
nice.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yes, I do too. There's something about that.
I use big blankets because you can put layers on and you can go from the neck, cover your shoulders, like your whole body. So you can get really deep detoxes that way.
I feel like I would want to lay down and do it. Instead of sitting,
More
I would want to like
relaxing.
lay down and just go to sleep.
A recliner. She wants
Yes. You have amazing sleep afterwards as well.
Do you?
Yes,
Really?
you do.
Oh, so it
What are
cures
some
my
other
sleep.
benefits out of this? Like this is just getting
Oh, so
Really
besides
interesting.
pain-free periods, it's a really great hormone regulator too. So if you've got intense PMS symptoms, or even if you're in perimenopause or premenopause, postmenopause, in the thicks of it, it brings all your hormone levels kind of back down. So you're dealing with some emotional parts that you don't have to have as well. And then you've got, your sex drive and all that kind of comes back. It's really just balancing from the inside out.
So does it work for people who have like a really super high sex drive? Does it make it go away or does it balance it or what?
I haven't heard that it affects that aspect of it if you're on one spectrum or the other, because sometimes you just thoroughly enjoy sex, and I think that's
Good.
okay
Lord, if it was
too.
intensified.
Yeah. Yes. Orgasms are intensified after steaming for sure.
Are there any complaints or any trouble that can occur?
I would say the biggest one that could come up would be like uterine. It's called uterine fatigue. So if you have multiple periods of month, is when if you're inducing steam and heat, you could continue to have that multiple periods. So it would have to play with the scheduling of that. So we aren't creating more blood flow when it's unnecessary. But all of that can be, once I know how your body reacts, it's tailored with the herbs, and there's specific formulas to stop, multiple periods and stuff like that. So many women who do suffer from uterine fatigue and they have multiple periods, or they're bleeding in between periods, or I've met women who bleed, 2-3 times a month for 3 to 4 days at a time, where most of the month is just bleeding. And so just really working with the right herbs to find their balance and what their body needs. And a lot of that has to do, we look at diet, what's going on in their life that's stress-induced, because there's a brain, breast, and uterus connection. So if you are feeling stress or having a life event, that can totally affect your periods and what's going on too. So there's a whole body, holistic approach to looking at why is this happening, how can we get to the root of it before going, any further.
What specific herbs do you use for certain issues?
It's so different per person. Each person is so unique in where they are in their cycle. So there's herbs if you are having longer cycles. So I could shorten it with certain herbs. If you've got short cycles and we need to get back to the normal, 28, 29 day cycle, there's those herbs that go towards that. If it's a lot of Chinese medicine, so you're looking at how's your liver functioning, is your spleen producing properly, and each herb is kind of tailored for certain parts of your body as well. So each person has their own kind of profile, and then the herb profile goes through as well and kind of touches on each thing that person goes through.
Have you seen any benefits with women who deal with infertility?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
Like you have success stories of clients you've worked with?
I've got a couple that I've worked with, and like partner practitioners. So, there's a a bunch of us, not necessarily in Arizona, but throughout the country. And so we're all connected like through a Facebook group, and we can reach out to each other for referrals for people's in other states.
Yeah.
And so we do all share, if we've got questions about clients or our success stories and what's going on. And the way that fertility and things work is it has to do, mainly there's this excess, especially after childbirth and you've already had multiple children or things like that, where you've got buildup in your uterus that's creating barriers for the egg to actually implant. And so removing that layer with the steam, you're able to have better implantation rates.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
How many times can you within a month?
The typical one is once a week. Now with my endometriosis, I did it up 2 to 3 times a week because it's a cleanse in the sense of you need to get what's in there out. So I had so much built up extra tissue and overgrowth of tissue that extra steaming was releasing that extra tissue that was causing the pain.
So can you overdo it?
I haven't heard of the way that you could get overdoing it would be you'd induce like a uterine fatigue. So your uterus would actually, because it's releasing so much, it gets tired. The muscle itself gets tired from releasing. And so you could end up with that multiple, 2 times or 2 periods a month or something like that. So your body tells you immediately if you are having too much release, your body needs to rest, and just listening to that for sure.
So what about, I know that a lot of people have like shame around sexuality. Can you speak anything to that?
I would say that, tied with painful periods, shame comes into that, encompasses every client that I see. And the main issue that I've kind of come across is that the story that you have from your first period is a story that you carry with you throughout your cycling. So say if you had a shameful first period experience, that tends to be how you view yourself and how you view your womanhood throughout. And that seems to be a trend that I come across, is that carrying of I didn't get support, when I didn't know I was crying when I had my period, and my mom, told me to forget about it, or, just whatever experience you have at that first one tends to carry through. And so a lot of my work is really digging into what happened at that point. How do you feel this way? Do you hide things about your period? Do you talk about your period? Your relationship with your period tends to be formed at that very, very first one. And so shame-wise, I feel like that's not only carried on when we get it, but I feel like society itself wants to keep us kind of shameful about it itself.
Yeah. Interesting. So in your sessions, is there, like, you have a dialogue with your clients and
Correct.
you actually like go and delve into their emotional issues that
Yes.
might be connected?
Yeah. And part of it too is I work with Ode to Joy. She does flower and crystal essences. And so we create very tailored essences that help release emotions that are tied to whether it's shame or that trauma or pain that you're experiencing, to help release and go from that.
Wow.
So do you suggest after you do a steaming, is it something that you want to relax, do you want to take it easy, or does it matter?
I always say to listen to your body. I'd say 9 times out of 10, everybody is nice and relaxed and tired. So I always say to listen to that and follow what your body's telling you.
Wow. So when are you going, Carrie?
I don't know.
Check your schedule there?
I'm intrigued. I'll tell you.
Does anybody suffer from any kind of, do you guys have painful periods, or?
I do.
Yeah.
Not every month, but yeah. And I have had more than one period and this is a lot of information here.
It's good. We're
Yeah.
delving
It
deep.
is.
It's
like I
funny
learned
because it's
something.
not the conversation you usually have, like so public. And
Right.
it's so interesting because it gives you so many benefits. And like if you don't know, like how do you know if you don't talk about it?
Yeah,
Right.
and touching into that, the feelings that come up when you say like words like vagina or menstrual cycle.
And you're wearing a
I have
lovely
a uterus
shirt.
on my shirt.
She
yes.
also has one on her water bottle.
My
Does
water
she?
bottle has- yes. Because when we release those feelings and that insecurity we feel about just talking about normal bodily functions, I think that's where a lot of that empowerment comes into play. Like, yeah, I have a painful period, and then next to me, oh yeah, I've got a painful period too. Oh hey, me too. Mine does this, and just like that, and you sense the empowerment community. You're not alone in what you're facing, and body functions are normal, and we should talk about it.
So what about people? I remember, like, back when I was a teenager, and sometimes when I would have sex, it would really hurt. And I don't know if it was like my body rejecting that person. Like it was this, I was with someone for like a year, and sometimes it would hurt to the point where I was like in pain, crying.
Yeah.
And he would like hold his hands over my stomach and like until it would go away after 5 or 10 minutes. So like, is that linked to what you do at all?
Yes, for sure. Painful sex can be anything from you've got blockages, physical blockages inside of your vagina that are causing certain anatomies to not sit right. But there's also a huge emotional component to what's going on in there. And a lot of times when women can release whatever could be emotionally holding them back, their body will cooperate and kind of fall into place too. I'd say a lot of the pain that comes from either painful sex or painful periods, it has to do with period care in general. I am totally anti-tampon. Not my thing. It causes a lot of, it just, when your body is cleansing, pushing stuff out, sticking and pushing something in that absorbs liquid but doesn't absorb the actual lining, so the lining gets stuck and then your body has to work harder to push it out. It's just causing more and more pain. So
You have some resistance coming from Carrie.
The other option is just
A diaper.
no.
No, they have vaginal cups.
They
don't they?
do. What about that?
cups, yeah.
They do. What
they
about that?
do have menstrual cups, and that's based on the person. So if you're still getting cramps when you have a menstrual cup in, you need to resize or try a different brand because it's still causing blockages on this side.
My only problem with that is there's just no ladylike or no nice way to.
There's really period panties. Have you tried period panties?
Have you tried them?
No.
Oh
That
my.
seems brilliant.
They are amazing.
You've tried them?
Yes, I own them.
Oh my! So is
Do?
it Fix or what is it called?
I actually have an off-brand off Amazon because you get 2 pairs for the price of 1.
Oh. And they work.
They're amazing. They hold 2 tampons worth of blood, and it's dry on top, so you don't even notice that.
It's actually good for the environment too.
Yes, yeah, you're
I
not.
like that.
I love Carrie's face. If we
I
could just
know,
record
Carrie's
her.
falling apart here.
She can't hide any of her emotions on her face.
I'm just like, seriously?
Well, I just don't like the name period panties. It just
No.
sounds weird, doesn't it? I don't even know what these
And
things
I'm sure
are.
they're
I gotta
not
look 'em
pretty.
up.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they're not pretty.
They're actually not bad.
They're actually, they're
Yeah.
just black underwear. They feel like regular underwear. They look like regular underwear. They come in different cuts too. You get boy cuts or booty shorts or whatever you're comfortable in. Or
Add the sex appeal to your period panties.
Yeah, because that goes together.
I gotta look these things up.
All right, we're all blushing. So we're actually going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll actually talk a little bit more about vaginal steaming.
Let's face facts. Your business is either growing or dying. Limeware Promotions wants to help your business grow. The strategy is not only to get seen, but remembered. And that's where Limeware comes in. We're here to help you come up with some fun and catchy promotional ideas so you get seen and remembered. At Limeware, we are ready to take on all your promotional needs, from custom embroidery hats and screen print shirts all the way to business cards and pens. Limeware Promotions. Find us on Facebook and Instagram and let the growing begin. It's time to level up. Important financial obligations require next-level financial solutions. Aggressive loans, investments with strong returns, intense affiliation to build your own business, credit enrichment for the best-in-class lending power, and powerful insurance solutions for extreme protection. Call or visit the Powerhouse Financial Solutions team at Next Level and make the decision to level up today. Go to nlbcgroup.com, nextlevelcreditplus.com, or call 480-550-9434. Level up with Next Level Business Concepts Group.
All right, welcome back. We're actually talking about vaginal steaming with Ashley, and I think we have so many questions that we don't know what to do with what right now. Like, I'm still like, what? So take me back a bit more. So you got the intake form, you have questions, you're actually getting a history of the person, and then they have their vaginal steaming for 10 minutes, and they may have some tired episodes afterwards. So is there a form that you fill out afterwards? Is there something that you're actually getting more information from them?
So I send a follow-up email, actually, and just let them know what to expect from a cleanse. You know, it's not, it's something that it's a 3 to 6 month process to fully cleanse your uterus. And so just giving them the heads up of what it kind of entails, what it can feel like, what's normal, and just letting them know that I'm here for them. They can reach out to me if they've got any questions, and then following up on the schedule that works for them.
3 to 6 months seems a long time. Is there a fast track?
That's your vagina.
Well, I was thinking of it in the sense of, especially like my personal experience, it's something that, people have had painful periods for X amount of years versus, committing to like a 3 to 6 month cleanse to never have that pain or experience again, could be a really good trade-off versus to continue to be in pain or anything like that, or just the amount of years that many women are struggling with.
Okay, I get that.
It's like a dietary
I get that.
cleanse.
See,
Yeah.
I don't have painful periods, so mine would be just like a vagina spa day.
Yeah.
A vagina what?
Spa day.
Spa day. I like that. The vagina spa day party.
Yeah.
I think we might have started something. A workshop.
Yeah. We could host retreats.
Ooh.
So how long does it last? As far as, like, you said it intensifies your orgasms. So
Correct.
how long? Just out of curiosity.
That's the part that she heard. She's like, I don't care about cramps.
Just out of
Different
I don't have those.
perspectives.
I don't
Here we
have
go.
those, so I'm just looking at it from a different perspective for our listeners.
For the listeners.
I would say on average, if I'm thinking back to what I've heard, I would say up to a week, about a week or so.
Wow. Not bad.
No, not bad. Not bad at all.
What does an investment look like for something like this? Is it packages or is it one time?
There's an initial fee, and that's $79, and that includes the intake and going over your plan and working on, it includes the emotional assessment and making the essences and things that go along with that. And then for the next sessions, it's $55 if you want the energy work. So, and then $39 for just herbs if you just want to come in and do straight herbs.
So what do you mean energy work?
Energy work would mean including crystal or flower essences, and you put them on topically before you steam to help move your energy to release during the process. And it also includes aromatherapy. So I've got rose or lavender aromatherapy as well.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah, I love
Flowers.
lavender.
I love lavender.
Me too.
All right. So for the future retreat we're doing, is this going to be a silent retreat? Because I love silent retreats.
It's so hard for me to be silent.
I'm actually planning a Yoni Fest in September.
What's a Yoni Fest?
Yoni Fest. It's all just celebration of your womb and your uterus, and it includes vaginal steaming and goddess dancing. Kind of very drum circle like.
Vagina party.
Literally,
You just called us. They were in.
yeah.
September
So
what? We'll put on the calendar now.
I'm in.
people
Yeah.
make little vagina cupcakes
Oh,
Yes.
and clay yonis. Like you can make your own out
Vagina?
of clay. Yes.
oh
Yep.
my goodness.
I was
That's what I made in
contemplating
art class.
vagina stamping. I don't know if anybody has seen or done that.
Stamping?
Stamping.
What
That
is-
sounds painful.
Wait, with your own?
Yes, you
Okay.
paint yourself and you have a bar or whatever, you put paper over and you can stamp and make art. There's all kinds of interesting things to celebrate womanhood.
We're gonna have to get the robes
and-
ready for this.
Yeah.
So are you gonna?
I'm not sure I could explain vagina art to my 9-year-old.
I don't think you should.
What mommy made.
Oh.
My daughter steams. She's 2.5 and she'll come and sit with me. And yeah,
What did this,
we're not shy about vaginas at my house. We talk about them and
What
talk
does your
about steaming.
husband think?
He's totally supportive. I
He
mean,
likes
he'll
vaginas?
hear me rant about him. I'll be like, in this tampon thing, and he'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, exactly. So luckily, he listens pretty well and
Wow.
finds it interesting. So
is he an engineer?
no,
Perfect if he was.
right?
I'm picturing him helping you like market your business, like talking to women. So let's talk about your vagina and your cramps.
He gave me
My
one of
wife.
my taglines. He said, I needed like a something to kind of empower people, and he's like, bringing vaginas back, and I was like, that came out of you? Like, he's like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, I do bring vaginas back, so yeah, he's supportive for sure.
Wow.
It's a new way to bring sexy back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
So at your Yoni Fest, are you gonna have other like facilitators there and people who
Yes.
do other kinds of
Yeah,
similar work?
acupuncture actually ties into it really well, channeling into the certain areas. So, acupuncturist, Reiki
Whoa,
masters.
wait, acupuncture in the area?
No. Well,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
too.
no.
Wait a second.
But in dealing with that area, into opening the
Okay.
pathways around that energy space.
So other
for
spots
sure.
that's connected to that.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay.
woman I follow on Instagram. She makes like rose quartz eggs to like put inside yourself or whatever, and it
Yes.
helps to heal. Do you know anything
There's
about
been
that?
a different. I used to have the green one. So there's one.
Jade?
that's- The jade
Is
one.
it jade?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be very healing.
Yoni
Carrie's
eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrie's doing what?
I suggest them. She's falling
She's
apart.
falling off her chair.
It's a great alternative to Kegels.
Yeah.
Is keeping a yoni egg in.
You
I
don't have
do.
one?
Me?
Yeah.
No, not like
Yeah.
a crystal one. I have like regular ones.
Okay.
But I want like a rose quartz.
I know,
Or an
I've never heard of the
obsidian or
rose.
something.
That's great.
I'll show you. They're
so
beautiful.
left out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
it
little
looks
bit
like
bigger.
that.
A little bit bigger
But
than
it's
that.
an egg for a little
Gosh,
outside.
serious?
Yeah, it's like an egg. It's an actual egg. And yeah, it's
Girls.
supposed to support you in a few different ways.
Yes. for
Girl,
sure.
I'll show you. I'm going
I
to
am
bring it
not
up
a
right now.
chicken.
Y'all
We may
keep
have to
talking.
share it on the group page.
Thank you. Girl, I'm going to get a bracelet.
There's a lot we can do with our bodies. We
Look,
don't even
that's
know
what they
about.
look like, Carrie. You see the little eggs?
Yeah, but that's huge.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
And you're just like going
They
about your
come,
day?
they come
Yes.
about different sizes, so you can get extra small,
Yeah.
medium, and go up as
Put
you
that on the
go
group
along.
page.
Wow.
Please group page that.
Okay.
We all need one. What's the next holiday?
Wow.
So September what? And where is this festival going to be?
It's tentatively September 14th. I'm thinking about having it at She Works here, but we're not sure weather-wise or how big we're going to go yet. But the date's definitely the 14th. So, still deciding.
Well, you have a
on how
media
big.
expert over on your left and an event planner over here.
You
so
do.
we are
We
like,
could set you up.
this could be fun.
And a girl who's straightforward and blunt. So
Yeah.
that's perfect. I don't mind talking about everything.
Robin's in too, it looks like.
Robin's in. She's
Whoa,
anti-tampon. She'll be there.
Yeah. Start the tampon protest early.
Bring your own egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Green egg. Yeah.
This thing could get so big, you could
interesting.
like go on a cruise and host these festivals for
It
people.
would be amazing. Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
You could set up little booths for all the vaginal steaming.
While you watch the water? Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
You can listen to Sip and Listen while you're there.
I just totally feel like I'm left out of this egg thing.
We'll get you one.
I've
for you.
never used one. Don't worry.
So you just
I
collect
know
them,
what
but you
it
don't put
is.
them where they belong?
Those are not mine. I follow her
Okay,
on
so you have
Instagram.
someone else's eggs?
No.
Okay.
Wait, okay. So is there any kind of steaming for men available?
Oh, good question.
I've heard men steam for hemorrhoids.
Oh.
Yeah.
So which
Definitely.
means women can too.
Yeah, that's one of the
Oh,
big
wow.
things after birth, and why it was kind of started initially. My and abdominal healers used it, and then for after childbirth, and the hemorrhoids after birth. But if you've got any tearing, swelling, all of that is addressed with the steam.
Interesting.
So do you have future plans for your business? Besides the great looking event?
Yeah, I'm actually putting together period boxes, Moontime Magic boxes, and it's basically a set that people can get delivered to their home monthly. It includes their personalized crystal flower essences, a period care product of their choice, affirmations, just, positivity and health, holistic approach to period care. And then I want to span that out to girls who get their first periods as like a gift for mothers to give to their daughters, to show them, to celebrate it rather than, have ill feelings about it, have that connectivity, and then post, birth kits for them, include steaming herbs for them to heal after birth, and then menopause, because a lot of women experience hot flashes, night sweats, stay up all night. So there'll be a box for them to have to kind of balance out that way.
I love
I
it.
think that's a great idea.
It is. It's like those other boxes that everyone has.
Yeah.
Like try out different things. And ultimately what you're doing for at least the teenagers is like creating a new story
Correct.
to which they can live into and not have all the shame and upset around
Yeah.
that.
Yep. For sure.
Now, how about other types of trauma that are a little bit more severe? Is that something that emotionally that gets healed as well?
Yes. Yeah. So there's anything from, sexual assault, miscarriage has been one that comes up a lot too, and wanting a cleanse and a fresh start from these things that have happened in their past. So that physical cleanse, taps into their emotion, being able to let go. And then I refer them to the doctor that I work with, who's the emotional wizard, and she'll make them the blends that they need for that particular trauma, to work through those emotions that come up with that release as well.
Who's this emotional wizard?
Her name's Aude Monson. She is a French pharmacist, and so she helps with them to create. She physically makes the crystal and the flower essences by hand. It's handcrafted. She brings all of her supplies and everything from France. It's all sustainably sourced. So she makes everything for them.
How did you make that connection?
We met at a women's group, actually, surprisingly enough, and she deals specifically with women in trauma, families in trauma, healing emotions. And I said, hey, we need to combine forces, and I'll do some physical healing, and she takes care of the emotions, and work together to bring balance and harmony inside. So,
Wow, I'd love to invite her on the show. I think it'd be great to get that perspective as well.
Does she
I
live
agree.
in France?
no, she's actually out in Fountain Hills. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
We'll invite her on next time.
for
Definitely.
sure.
Wow.
So I had a question and then I lost it.
Carrie has one too.
Okay. Do you teach other women to be vaginal steam facilitators as well? Or men, I guess?
I haven't yet, no. I would love to do so for healing after birth because it's something that's very personal, and it's an extended protocol, so an extended steaming protocol. So I do plan to. I haven't currently yet, though. But it is something to look out for because, I mean, especially after birth, you can't predict when somebody's going to have their baby, and you typically steam 3 to 4 days after birth. So it would be nice to have someone available to kind of help out in that sense. But yeah, it's definitely on my mind.
Awesome. So what's one of the best success stories you've had with a client?
I would say it's hard because I feel like every person has, once they have that release, it's such a success for me in that they don't have to live with that. It's hard for me in my mind to pinpoint one success over another because the happiness and joy that they experience afterwards. You know, menopause seems to be like a really interesting one because a lot of women feel that they've lost their power or they're not quite woman anymore or they're not useful, and dealing with those emotions and that release to have them sleep. Urine incontinence, that's a big one after birth and menopause. Having them sleep, having them not have hot flashes. It's hard to pick any particular one because the happiness and joy afterwards it's all different levels and different. It means so much to each person, I guess I should say, and each person's happiness means a lot to me. So
Yeah, I get that.
yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
I got certified in December.
There's a certification.
Yes. Yeah.
Where do you get certified for something like this?
Steamy Chick, Kelly Garza, the founder of Vaginal Steaming really here in the States. She has a Peristeam Hydrotherapist Institute. It's the only one of its kind. And so she offers certifications in different areas that include steaming, whether it's, postpartum steaming or anything like that. So, yeah.
So what did you do before this?
I was a dog groomer.
Dog groomer.
Yeah, I was a dog groomer and dog trainer for almost 10 and a half years.
Yeah.
So, and then I had my baby and was hanging out at home and miserable with my gynecological health and found a YouTube video and all changed after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's been like the toughest part of building your business?
The stigma that that there's life outside of synthetic birth control and surgeries, and I fight a lot of doctors, come at the practice because it's something I feel like it's something that can take business from their job, and so if they're not familiar with it, if they haven't seen it or used it in person, it's easy to say that, oh, you shouldn't do that. Whereas most cases they haven't used it in their practice or tried it. And I've been fortunate that I have naturopathic physicians that are interested and have recommended clients to me because they do see the benefit and find it, but it's that wheelhouse of going against mainstream protocols. But, OBs have integrated it into their practice. Naturopaths, find it very beneficial. A lot of different practices can find use for it. So
Yeah.
You just mentioned birth control. You can use it for birth control?
I was meaning like outside of synthetic birth control. So when you're on a synthetic birth control or anything like that, you're not having actual periods. Like your body isn't having its functioning. So, and a lot of times the side effects are very detrimental to your emotional health and physical well-being. So, recommending that women can wean off of those and actually balance their hormones naturally and get pain-free periods without having to seek a medication is something that that's that society that we're kind of going against. So that's ingrained, like, oh, I have a painful or weird period, I just got to get on birth control. Where it's like, oh, you know, there is other options. There's a natural way to go about that.
Are you open to doing more talks on the subject?
Of course.
Is that something you do regularly, or is it something that doesn't really come up yet?
It hasn't really come up yet. Yeah.
She's only been in business 5 months.
Yeah.
That's right.
But look at her. She's already on a podcast. She's already doing a
Seems
Yoni Fest.
Very calm and happy. I'm just going to say that.
Calm and happy? What does that
She's
mean?
very calm,
Oh, calm.
and very happy.
Yeah, I know.
It's all the
There's something to say
steam.
about that.
There is something to say. We're all jumping out of our skin, and she's just like all zen. So can this actually replace hormone therapy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
I know, like, from my experience, too, like, they wanted me to be on certain birth controls to control my endometriosis. And so the fact that I don't have to take any of that, and a lot of times many other clients don't have to rely on those, especially menopause cases in general, you know, but put on synthetic hormones because of their hot flashes and night sweats. And so being able to remove those and get a good night's sleep, is always nice.
Okay. And then how about vaginal tightening?
It happens.
It happens?
For sure. Yeah. Lifts.
Gary perked up.
Yeah, that's why it's so great after
Robin perked up
birth.
too. Yeah, that was Robin's question.
Yeah, she like
Yeah.
wrote us a little note.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have a mic over there?
If you think about when you get a facial too, how
That's
it
true.
how it affects your pores and your skin, the skin rejuvenation in the area and just inside internally has the same effects.
I'm ready.
It's like the happy vagina.
Yes.
Happy
Well,
life.
About a
Yes.
happy vagina.
I saw it in Hollywood a couple weekends ago where they did a vaginal tightening, and I'm like, this is kinda
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hollywood's doing it.
It's just got to be right then.
That's right. So it's funny because the reason I asked about if you do any talks, we actually have a group of people coming together later this month that Christina and I are hosting, and we'd love for you to come in
Oh,
as one
yeah.
of our speakers.
Yeah.
So, and Carrie too is going to be there. So it would be just
sure.
great to actually educate and bring this awareness to
Yeah.
people, because I think I saw it, you know, in passing on a news segment once, and I'm like, oh, that's
Celebrities
interesting.
do too.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow,
Yep.
Chrissy Teigen.
I think she
you
was the
know.
one wearing the robe. I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
So
We're going to have to
it
look into
com-
this.
it
I want the
comes
robe,
up.
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could invite celebrities to our talk too. And they could talk about it.
The experience they've had.
Yeah.
This could be really fun.
It could be.
That's great.
So what else do you want to tell our viewers and listeners? And
Trying to think. I would say too, if I'm thinking about like some big things that people come to me for, besides emotional aspect, it'd be like chronic infections. I think that's a big one. Yeast infections, clearing out, you know, that is always very important. Bacterial vaginosis, all those kinds of recurring, imbalances that are occurring inside can also be, treated and healed in that sense too. So,
wow.
I'm thinking about like, because you said all of that stuff. I was thinking about like STDs. You know how HPV it can most forms like heal itself. I feel like you could even use this to possibly speed up the healing because you're kind of
Yes.
regenerating things and.
yep, yeah, you can steam. It's a different protocol because you don't want to, bring on an outbreak or anything like that or bring it back up. But in sense of clearing it, oh, for sure. Yeah,
Interesting.
you just follow a particular protocol and a particular herb.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice to hear that it's good for like the UTIs and yeast infections too.
Yes.
I know a lot of people get them like all the time.
Yeah.
I've gotten quite a few myself and they are the worst.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'll have my steaming session for.
And a lot of times we get put on antibiotics, which then in turn, does things to your gut health. And, you're in this cycle of going back and forth of antibiotics, and then you're not able to fight off infections properly. And so this cycle begins of reoccurring when you can actually clear out from the cervix itself, that imbalance, rather than having to hurt your gut in the process.
Yeah. I'm amazed that there's just so much knowledge around this topic. And like, you know, you're like a doctor in this way, like that level of knowledge. I feel like.
Well, I
you
think
know?
when someone's in pain, like you were, like you really
Yes.
want to just discover what's going to be helpful, and then
Yeah.
the fact that you can help other people in the process, I think that's huge.
Yeah, that's really what it was, is, you know, waking up in this world of like, hold on, being a woman isn't painful. I don't have to have a bunch of surgeries or ruin my body, you know, internally with different hormones and, you know, all that. And so that awareness is kind of what I was like, okay, if I know it, I really hope that I can share it and gift it. Because it's just so important. Like, you know, you feel like this is the way you're supposed to be, you're supposed to live, and then you cross this rainbow almost, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's this whole new world out there. And to me, I was just like, I can't keep that in. Like, it's too amazing not to want to share that.
Yeah.
Anytime you can do something without surgery or medication, that's definitely a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
that's how I've always felt. And for long-term effects too, like getting to the root of a problem rather than putting a Band-Aid on a problem. And a lot of times in our gynecological health, how we're treating our menstrual cycles now and currently is how we are affected when we hit menopause, and how we can completely be off balance is because we were so off kilter in the beginning and throughout that once it's coming to an end, it could be really, you know, a lot of women end up with hysterectomies because things get so wild after that. So that's so important too.
So as like a maintenance after you do sessions for people, do you ever prescribe like a diet or nutrition plan? Because I feel like that would go into that too.
Yeah, there's always, I advocate seed cycling. So using particular seeds during your cycle to promote hormone balancing. So there is a nutritional aspect. Again, if they've got like a yeast problem, you know, looking at their sugar intakes, you know, the nutrition aspect does play a role in the hormones, supporting the cleanse. It's not just, you know, here, take this cleanse. It's like, how can we support it in the best way possible for you to have the best results at the end?
What kind of seeds are these?
Pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. It all depends on where you are in your cycle, but yeah.
Awesome. Carrie.
Just sitting here, what kind of diet does my vagina need?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you have a really close relationship with your vagina. Like that's the key. It's almost like you really know yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's beautiful that comes from it. And I'll be a little vulnerable here, but I do have an altar that I have dedicated to my cycle. So it's got certain crystals, and I'll light a candle during my cycle. And a lot of, I don't know if you have heard this story, but, you know, when women first started getting their cycles, you know, they were kind of put into a tent to be together.
There's a book on it.
Yes.
The Red
Really?
Tent.
Yeah, and it's all about empowerment, because it was this belief that a woman is at their most powerful state when they are actually bleeding. Essence is your blood flow, essentially. It gives life, it gives death, it's the birth of all creation. And to honor that release of energy has played a big role in looking at it at that aspect of it, rather than, oh, you know, it's my time to bleed during the month. It's like, you know, my blood gives life, it's created life, and just placing a little bit of honor into that has made a huge difference in how I view my body. I never really liked that part of my body for a long period of time because it held so much pain. And so being able to celebrate it and, you know, be in touch with it, I feel much more powerful and in tune with who I am and all of me, rather than trying to shut that part of me out, for sure.
That's beautiful.
I love that. I'm curious to see what your daughter will like.
Grow up to be?
Yeah, and
She'll-
what the information will come from her to actually
Yeah.
have this close relationship to herself and her own body.
Yeah.
And it's not something we usually do with our kids. But I'm fascinated by the fact that she's 2.
She's 2.5.
And she can sit there for 10 minutes.
No, she'll hop on for a minute or two, and then she hops down. But she talks about it. She'll help me bring in the supplies, and she'll scoop out the herbs and stuff like that. And she'll tell me she says vagina, she says the word, and if she's running around and stuff like that. And so it's never something we have shied away from, and it's just another part of our body. And it's been I'm hopeful that she will come to me, and can talk to me about certain aspects, and we could share that as a, part of womanhood, rather than, oh, we don't talk about that because, I don't want that aspect to be, because I know that's how I felt when I was.
She can be
younger.
the inspiration for the mini box.
Yes.
The mini box. Well, we are out of time, but what a great conversation. Thank you for coming on
Thank you
and
so
sharing
much
this
for having
information.
me.
So
Yeah.
we'll schedule our party.
We will.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.